Ah, the joys of bug fixing. Yeah, this looks like it'll take 2 hours or 2 weeks to smooth out. Yeah, I had no idea how to get him to stop colliding. However, I did just finish a system that builds off of this that should solve the issue. Well, that didn't work. Hey again everybody, it's me DMKYT here. So last time I showed off the game's first enemy. Yay. Yeah. I wanted to get a devlog out last week, but if you remember, my game was a tad buggy. The enemy kept getting stuck on walls, and while I did figure out a fix, it was more like a band-aid than a concrete solution. I wasted a lot of time trying to get this enemy to work, and after a while I just kind of gave up. It became increasingly obvious that I was overcomplicating things, so I took last week off to sort of redo the enemy from the ground up. The main issue with the first attempt was that I was using raycast hitboxes to determine whether or not he had hit a wall on any of his 4 sides, as well as an extra 4 to check the corners to see if he was switching sides. This method of doing things was very inefficient and completely unreliable. There was many instances where the enemy would just collide through the wall. I decided instead to use Unity's built-in rigid body and collider system, which was far more reliable for things like this. I then had to recreate the enemy's ability to follow the player, which I was initially unsure on how to do that, but I came up with a system for it. So the enemy has a value called radius. If the player is at a position greater than the radius, then the enemy will follow at +1 speed. If the player's position is less than the negative value of the radius, it's -1 speed. If you're in the radius's range, then it's essentially just where you are in relation to the enemy's position. This actually gave the enemy a little slowdown transition effect, which was unintended, but I think it looks pretty good for when he charges at you. It looks like he's sort of sliding from the momentum. Thankfully, because I had already made it once, it didn't take as long to make this one, and I could actually salvage a lot from the original enemy. It's even got some of the features that didn't work with the original enemy all too well. For example, when the player is behind a wall, but still in the enemy's general range, I wanted the enemy to go to the nearest local point, so could attempt to get past whatever obstruction was in the way and get to the player. Now it's not done yet, but this is good progress and it does seem to be coming along pretty well. I'm also still working on the enemy's model. I changed the eye texture a bit, so there's now little creases on the outside as well as a thicker outline. I also made his clothing a bit more tattered. That's about it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below if you've got any questions, suggestions, or whatever. See you all next week and take care everybody.